Welcome back to another World Ablaze. It is December 15th, 2025. We're 10 days away from Christmas, although you wouldn't know it. We are deep into the month of goodwill and cheer to all men, but again, you definitely wouldn't know it. Doesn't feel that way. Over this weekend, we had a terrorist attack in Australia where two radicalized Islamic extremists targeted Jews at a festival on Bondi Beach. We had a mass shooting at Brown University in America. We also had a terrorist organization whose leaders were arrested before they carried out a terrorist event on New Year's Eve where they planned to bomb 5 different targets in America. Rob Reiner and his wife were stabbed to death, murdered by their son. And our president, President Donald Trump, the American president, the president of the United States, decided to make it about himself, make it political. He is usual narcissistic self. And showed the world he has no empathy. And so is the world, and so is America. This is the shit show that has been 2025. And while we want 2025 behind us as quickly as possible, before we get there, I'm going to continue to try to shed light on what is happening. I will give you my informed opinion. And unfortunately, this episode is just sad. Let's start with Australia. This is what we know. We have a father and son duo who got together, decided to target Jews who were celebrating a festival, a Hanukkah event, in Australia on Bondi Beach. Now, this is an annual festival. These two people, these radicalized Islamic extremists, decided that they were going to open fire on these people. In fact, it's been reported that 15 people were murdered by these radicalized Islamic extremists. And I'm going to keep saying that because the government of Australia wants to make sure that we don't refer to these people this way, that we don't forget about the fact that the goal of Australia, apparently, and of the world is to be inclusive, not discriminatory towards anybody, regardless of their religion, belief, etc. So we can't say that these were Islamic extremists, can't say that they were Muslim, even though that's exactly what they were. These two individuals apparently, or at least the son, had ties to the Islamic State. They chose to carry out this heinous act of violence and terror. And yet, the Australian government wants to focus on stricter gun laws. A country where it is very hard for anybody in Australia to own a gun, as it is. They already have some of the strictest gun laws in the world, but it's the guns. It's the guns. Not the person, not the radical extremist views, not the anti-Semitic outlook, not the racial inclination. No. Has nothing to do with that at all. It's the guns. At least that's what the Australian government is saying. I'm going to show you some footage, though. I'm going to show you some video. And for those who aren't watching, I'll do my best to explain what's going on. Graphic. It's real footage. This from Australia. Let me go ahead and cue this up here. Switch over, and there you go. Now, again, this is real footage. This is the shooting. Now, it doesn't show people actually getting shot, so you're not going to see any blood spray or anything like that. But it's still considered graphic content. It is real. It is violent. Here we go. Now, for those who aren't watching, that is the father and son crossing a bridge that goes over a parking lot there. And they're opening fire on these festival attendees. In fact, you can hear the music in the background. And so there's that footage there. And all I can say is the silver lining is that an innocent bystander, another person who happened to be there in the parking lot, decided to stop it, couldn't take it. Another person, this person actually being Muslim, someone from Syria who came to Australia to live, I believe. And this person said, no, we're not doing this today. This person who served as a police officer himself previously decided that he's not going to go for this. Decided that as a Muslim, he didn't care if it was Jews who was being targeted. He believed in the sanctity of life, live and let live. And so this person jumped in, disarmed one of the shooters, but unfortunately took two himself, took 2 bullets, and is recovering. So yes, heroes do exist. I have footage of that as well. And again, I'll do my best to explain this for those who are only listening. Let me go and switch this over. And here's the video of this hero. So for those who can't see, this guy was hiding behind a car, ran up to the shooter, put his arm around his neck, took his gun, and threw him to the ground. And he trained his gun on him. So this person's trying to walk away, the person who was shooting, the shooter. And the hero of the day continues to keep the person at bay. Now, unfortunately, he did take a couple of bullets himself. The camera seems to pan over. Whoever's filming this is following the action here. And it goes over to his son, I believe, who's on the bridge, continues to shoot, is firing at the hero and other people who are just happening to stand there. This is crazy. This is the world we live in right now. It's as if this stuff is becoming normal. Mass shootings, terrorist events, Jews being targeted, people being targeted. Here's a report from NBC News over in Australia. And this is what they had to say. A father and son who lived in a quiet Sydney suburb, one a licensed gun owner, the other previously investigated for potential extremist associations. All right, let me stop there. One of these people was already under investigation previously for extremist associations. All right, let's go ahead and keep reading and see how this plays out. Like, obviously, the Australian government here fumbled the ball big time. With 15 people confirmed dead, Sunday's attack on the famous Bondi beach is Australia's deadliest shooting in decades. Officials said the shooters targeted the Jewish community and were clearly motivated by extremist ideology when they unleashed a volley of bullets from a bridge at the gathered crowds. Officers fatally shot the 50-year-old father at the scene, while the 24-year-old son suffered critical injuries and was hospitalized. The attack has set off renewed scrutiny of not only Australian gun laws and efforts to combat anti-Semitism, but also what authorities knew about the duo accused of carrying out the attack. So again, right away, it was the guns. It was the first thing that was mentioned in this article as well. Sets off renewed scrutiny of not only Australian gun laws, of course, because it was the guns. It wasn't the extremists. Continuing to read here. 3 senior law enforcement officials in the U.S. and Australia told NBC News that the investigators had tentatively identified one of the suspects as Naveed Akram. Australia's national broadcaster, ABC, named the suspects as, I think it's Saeed Akram and his son Naveed Akram. The younger suspect was an Australian-born citizen who first came to the attention of the Australian Intelligence Agency in October 2019. Hold on. The son who carried out this attack with his father, the son, was previously under investigation in 2019 by the Australian Intelligence Agency. I mean, if the intelligence agency of any country is investigating you, yeah, there's something going on. There's a reason this person probably shouldn't have been in Australia since 2019. But let's continue reading. He was examined on the basis of being associated with others Others whom they won't identify. Interesting. An assessment was made that there was no indication of any ongoing threat or threat of him engaging in violence. Well, that just proved to be wrong. There's that thing called go with your gut. If the Australian Intelligence Agency thought that there was merit to investigate this person based on his associations, well, then go with your gut. Because fast forward to December 2025, and this person is carrying out an extreme Islamist terrorist event in which he is targeting and killing Jews on Bondi Beach in Australia. So, this isn't the first time this sort of thing has happened. There was also the other event that happened here in America only a couple of weeks ago, where National Guards people were shot, one of them killed by another person who had ties or worked with the CIA or someone who's known by the government, but yet allowed to walk around under the guise of refugee status, the protection of refugee status, and carried out a targeted terrorist event here on U.S. soil. A few weeks later, Bondi Beach, Jews are targeted by extreme radicalized Islamists. Again, these people, at least the son, was under investigation by the Australian Intelligence Agency in 2019, but didn't pose a threat, didn't think anything would happen. Well, let's go ahead and read some more news. Let's go to BBC. Let's see what they have to say about this. Bondi shooting appears to be motivated by Islamic State ideology, says the Australian Prime Minister. Now, this is interesting because this is a live update. This update came out today. In fact, it came out and was updated about 5 minutes ago. What time is it here? It is 6:25 p.m. my time, 12/15, 2025. So December 15th, 2025 at 6:25 p.m. So these people had ties and were motivated by the Islamic State. So they had ties to the Islamic State and they were motivated by the Islamic State. The Australian Intelligence Agency was also investigating the son for ties to others, big quotes for people who aren't watching, others, I'm air quoting here, other organizations that they won't name, except until today with this update from the BBC. The Prime Minister of Australia admitted it, but didn't want to say so earlier. But let's focus on the guns. Let's focus on gun laws because it had nothing to do with extreme Islamist ideology whatsoever. Because it was the guns. It was the guns. It had nothing to do with these people being tied to the Islamic State. I mean, they tried not to say it. They tried not to say what the other relationships were. No, it was the guns. Damn it. If these guys didn't have access to a bolt action rifle, this never would have happened. Never would have happened. What they didn't tell you is that there was later reports that said they also had explosives in their vehicles ready to go. So then where's the law against buying household chemicals to make bombs? I mean, if we're going to blame the guns, we might as well blame the household chemicals. Might as well blame everything that makes up a homemade bomb. From materials you could buy at the hardware store or even your garden supply store. Interesting, right? But it was just the guns. It had nothing to do with the ideology. But let's not call all Muslims bad people. And that's not what I'm trying to say whatsoever. Because again, remember our hero? He was a Muslim. He was a person that couldn't stand for it. So I'm going to read a little bit more about this person, at least what has been reported. From The Guardian, it was a matter of conscience. Ahmed Al-Ahmed's family reveal why he risked his life to disarm alleged Bondi shooter. When Ahmed Al-Ahmed tackled and wrestled a gun from an alleged shooter at Bondi Beach, he was simply thinking he couldn't bear to see people dying. Less than a day later, Ahmed remains in a critical but stable condition at St. George Hospital in Sydney. Since the attack, the 43-year-old father of two young girls has catapulted to international fame with a GoFundMe page already raising more than 1.3 million Australian, Good for him. Risked his life. He did some good. He deserves that. Took a couple of bullets. He's in critical. Right. So, Anthony Albanese singled out Ahmed at a press conference on Monday, paying tribute to his actions as an example of Australians coming together. Ahmed Al Ahmed took the gun off that perpetrator at great risk to himself and suffered serious injury as a result of that and is currently going through operations today in the hospital. The NSW premier, Chris Minns, visited Ahmed in hospital and posted on Instagram praising the real life hero. Last night, his incredible bravery no doubt saved countless lives when he disarmed a terrorist at enormous personal risk. Minns wrote, "There is no doubt that more lives would have been lost if not for Ahmed's selfless courage. At least 16 people, including one of the alleged gunmen, were killed in the mass shooting during a Hanukkah celebration on Sunday evening." So here's a Muslim, here's an individual from Syria who decided he couldn't take it, said, "This isn't happening. I'm not going to let this happen." Now, here's the thing though. Why don't we see more of this? Because people are afraid of calling out who carries out these attacks, right? They don't want to say they're Muslim. They don't want to say they're Islamists because they don't want to sound racist. They don't want to be bigoted, etc. But then we have examples like where this guy, this innocent bystander, this person who chooses to be a hero, is a Muslim. Perfect example of someone who is looking out for the sanctity of life. Why do we not have more Muslims calling out and denouncing these extremists? Because it's they say like, well, it's only like 3%, 10% that are the bad people that are carrying out these heinous acts who believe in conquering the world, but yet there isn't enough good Muslims who speak up against it or fight out against it. Why is that? I mean, we easily call out the Jews that were targeted, but we can't call out the Muslims, the Muslim peoples. If you're complicit, then you are adding to the problem. You're encouraging and indirectly supporting these heinous acts. And that is my opinion. I'm not saying to get up, form your own army, and fight these well trained people who obviously, know how to kill. That's what they do. They kill others. They rain terror on others. I'm not telling you to do that. But you can at least speak up. And if enough people speak up, the world will absolutely get behind you. But we need your own people in your own community to show the world and tell the world that this isn't right. But yet you're not. At least not enough of you. And that is a problem. That is a big problem because it leads others to believe that you don't really care. You're kind of like, whatever. Sure. Yeah, that was bad. Move on. That's a problem. That's the issue we're having. But hey, thank God that this guy was there. Thank God that this guy stopped the shooter because who knows what would have happened. Well, while that happened on a Sunday, we also had a mass shooting here in the United States. Brown University. Now, this is an interesting one here. You see, this one on Brown University, where it has been reported that there, I think there was like over 800 security cameras. Suppose I don't know if that's a real number, but I will tell you this as somebody who has installed AV and security cameras for a lot of schools, higher ed as well. I will say that these campuses, these sites definitely have hundreds of cameras per site. So it's not an exaggeration to assume that Brown may have 800 cameras. Some of them maybe even be facial recognition cameras. Now, I'm not going to confirm that, but these are just the reports that are going around. And the reason I say all this is because when this shooting event happened, the police claimed they didn't have any footage. In fact, no, hold on, let me back up. They had footage, but the footage they released was extremely underwhelming because it was one camera at a very suspicious angle that seemingly didn't capture much. Out of all the 800 something cameras, this was the only one. The only one they had. Let me play some of that footage. Here, you know what? You be the judge. You be the judge here. For those watching, unfortunately, if you're not watching, I encourage you to go and watch the video here on YouTube. You could find the channel, World Ablaze with George Fonts. My handle is @FontsAblaze. I encourage you to watch this video. Let me go ahead and blow this up so you can see this footage. So here's the grainy security footage right here from one angle, which seems to be where this person is leaving the university or going around the corner somewhere on the university. I don't know. But check this footage from the one single camera, from the one camera that seemed to be able to capture the suspect. Watch this video. Ah, that's it. That's all you saw. All you see is a guy dressed in black. The video footage is it's clear, a little bit grainy. Doesn't really show much. It shows a guy just walking around a corner. Doesn't have anything in his hand. He had in his pocket. He had a jacket. Wearing black clothes. Couldn't see who it was. Nothing. That's it. This is all they had to go on. Out of 800 cameras, 800 reportedly, allegedly, 800 cameras at Brown University. This is the only footage they had. This is it. That's all. Crazy, right? And so this gets even better. President Trump reports, they apprehended the person. And then the police contradict President Trump, saying, no, they didn't actually apprehend the person. And then later they said, hey, we got a person of interest. We found him. And it happened to be a guy who was a ex-military intelligence person, I think, Army, and was actually a student at Brown University. I believe it was Benjamin Erickson was a person. Only later to be revealed that it wasn't that person. And in fact, what was funny, well, this isn't funny. The event was very tragic, but I mean funny in a way that this whole thing was a shit show. Let's just say that in a very shit show fashion. This person, when they originally released the photo of this Benjamin Erickson, was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy, Captain America, whatever. Not that he was built like Captain America, but And then they said, well, that's the wrong photo. And then it was a brown-haired person, still same background apparently, Army, all that. Only to later say, well, we thought we had him, but we didn't. So we had to let this guy go. What? Okay, let me play you these clips. Let me play you these clips and you go ahead and form your own opinion on what's going on here, because this whole thing seems really suspect. Let me blow this up for you. All right, this from Fox News.
We are able to report that we have detained a person of interest involved in yesterday's shooting. Colonel Perez will speak in a minute about that update. Second, I want to let the Providence community know that effective immediately, we are lifting the shelter in place for Brown and the related area.
All right. This guy wants to report we apprehended the person of interest, but like what, bro? Do you know what's going on or do you not? Why are you being so careful about this? I mean, you can say we have the alleged suspect. We have a person of interest. Like this guy didn't even seem confident in delivering this message. And then, so you have this later footage though, right after that announcement. Well, not right after, let's say a day later. Here's this here. Here's what they have to say.
One was chased to ground. It led to us detaining a person of interest. And so those words and how we choose those words when we're talking about an investigation matter. And what it means here is that certainly there was some degree of evidence that pointed to this individual. But that evidence needed to be corroborated and confirmed. And over the last 24 hours, leading into just very, very recently, that evidence now points in a different direction. So what that means is that this person of interest needs to be and should be released. I think what is really unfortunate that this person's name was leaked to the public.
You think? You like how they're backtracking and how to explain how much of a fucking asshat their whole department is, how they fumbled this whole thing, how they so bad wanted to pin it on a white military guy who was the tender age of, I believe, 24 or whatever. And damn it, it didn't turn out to be this white guy. And the reason I'm saying that is because it was reported that the shooter was yelling something, for those not watching, more air quotes, yelling something like Allahu Akbar. At least that's what allegedly is going around that this person said. They wanted it to be a white person so bad. And what's crazy is on social media, there were people that left literally hoping that it was a white person. When they originally thought it was a white person that was caught, like, oh, thank God I wasn't another Muslim. Oh my God, we don't need any more of this. We don't need any more bigotry, any more racism, any more hate. Wait a minute. Regardless of all that, if the person was Muslim, if they were Indian, if they were Haitian, if they were Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese, Russian, who cares? You have to tell the truth. If you know something, and apparently by these two clips, I think they know more than they're trying to let up, because you can't explain how out of 800 something cameras that you don't have any good, clear footage of the suspect, number one. Number two, the delivery in their messages in both the Fox clip and the CNN clip that I just played, when they said they apprehended a person of interest and then later said, well, we got to be careful with our words. And that's why we say person of interest, because we had evidence that did lead to this arrest. But then we saw other things that made us say, well, it's not really him. We need to let him go. Like, what in the fuck are we dealing with? What is going on in America? What are we afraid of? Why are you hiding? This is obviously being covered up from the fucking get-go. Why don't you be honest? We have people who were shot at Brown University. And then I'm going to go back to the Australia event where, the Australian government didn't really at first want to pin it on a Muslim, an Islamic extremist. They want to blame the guns. And then right after the shooting here at Brown University, what is the narrative going around on social media in America? We need stricter gun laws. And if President Trump would put stricter gun laws in place, we wouldn't have this problem. Well, you are fucking stupid if you believe that. So you believe that the right to own a gun in America, taking away the right to defend oneself, is the answer to making you feel safe. You will feel safer knowing that I could die because I can't defend myself, because I don't have access to the weapon to combat those who would have a gun. And let me tell you something. You think these people who carry out these attacks just happen to walk into a fucking Walmart and buy a rifle? No. They're buying these on the black market. They're getting them from people who steal them. Like, they're not buying these fucking guns elite. Are you that dumb? Is this the answer? Stricter gun laws? We already have, I don't even know how many gun laws in America. You think it's easy to walk in and buy a gun? Really? Go ahead and buy one right now. Go to your local gun store and try to just buy a gun. You can't just buy a gun. It's not that easy. There are laws in place that restrict the extremely easy access to anyone to buy a gun. But it's not illegal to own one. So how do you think these violent, extreme criminals are getting access to these weapons? Oh my God, is it the black market? By illegal means? Yeah, that's exactly how it's happening. And if you take away the guns, as they did in the UK, what happens? Well, they got crazy people chasing other people down the streets with machetes and throwing acid in people's faces. Oh, they just go old school. They just strangle them to death. Did you know that strangulation in the UK is a thing? It's a leading cause of murder. Did you know that? It is I'm not saying it is but it is a major cause of murder. Strangulation. Like getting up and just, grabbing the guy's neck and just going, until they don't breathe. That's it. And so what do we propose here? Take away the guns? Take away the rocks? Take away the knives? Take away the cutlery? Fuck, man, you might as well close all the Home Depots and Lowe's in America, because we know that you could buy anything from a hardware store that could be used as a weapon. You might as well stop selling garden supplies, because hell, we all know what happens if you know a little bit of chemistry and see what happens with certain fertilizers and chemicals to create. I'm not giving you the blueprint or telling you how, but I'm just saying there's ways to do bad things with everyday items. Evil's going to find a way, as I say. One idiot online tried to rebut my statement by saying, well, why make it easier for them to get guns? What are you, fucking 12? Are you fucking 12? Make it easy. So if we take that away, they won't find any other way to carry out heinous acts? They're not going to use knives, not going to use machetes, rocks, nothing. That's not going to happen. They're not going to make explosives. How about we enact harsher punishments on those who are caught with illegal guns? For those who are involved in gun trafficking, the sale of guns on the black market. What if we do that? What if it's like life in prison, period? That's it. Just you get caught doing this, life in prison. Why? Well, because people who are looking to get these guns by illegal means are doing what? They're doing so to carry out illegal acts. No other excuse. Why else would you want to do it the illegal way? Why? Oh, I know. You need a bazooka. Okay, whatever. But seriously, why would you buy a gun through illegal means if you're a well-meaning person who just needs something to protect themselves, when you can easily go buy a gun going through the proper channels here in the United States of America, going through your background checks, everything? Oh, because the people that are going ahead and doing this are fucking criminals who won't pass a fucking background check. You see how we get to the answer when you start doing a little fucking thinking, you dumbasses? And I'm sorry if I'm cursing a lot all of a sudden, but I am so frustrated with all this shit. Murders, violence, all these things happen, and it's the gun's fault. It's the access to weapons. Weapons, or tools, as I really say, that are designed and are intentionally to be used in self-defense or to literally hunt for your fucking food. You know, like our forefathers had to do. Murdering someone is a choice. The gun doesn't make you do it. Crazy makes you do it. The person has to decide, has to make a conscious decision to kill another person. And while Australia thinks that the problem they had in this terrorist attack wasn't extreme Islamist whatsoever, it wasn't an extreme ideology, it wasn't the fact that these people were Jew-hating cowards who were intent on just murdering people because they were Jewish. The Brown University shooting had nothing to do with the fact that this person was just sick in the head and decided, I'm just going to target a bunch of students and start opening fire. None of that. None of that had to do with the decisions that these people made to carry out these heinous acts. It was the guns. That was the problem. The guns. Right. Yeah. Moving on. As I mentioned earlier before the show, that a terrorist organization was arrested. That was a thing. I got a clip for that too. Department of Justice announced that they had arrested these people. I think it was 4 individuals that were involved in this organization. The Turtle Island Liberation Front. Yeah, Turtle Island Liberation Front, an Antifa organization. Let me play the clip of that announcement here as another bad event, another terrorist event that was planned out to be carried out New Year's Eve on American soil was thwarted, stopped. We go ahead and play that video for you.
The 4 defendants are Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. The pictures, I think we have them somewhere. We'll put them up here. Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. Zachary Aaron Page, 32. Dante Gaffield, 24, and Tina Lay, 41, each from the Los Angeles area. Each is charged with conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device in violation of Title 26, United States Code Section 5861D. We intend to file additional charges in the coming weeks as we finish reviewing the evidence. The defendants are all radical anti-government members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, which, according to their own social media, is an anti-capitalist, anti-government movement that calls for their associates to rise up and fight back against capitalism. One of the leaders of the organization, defendant Audrey Carroll, helped organize an even more radical faction of the group called the Order of the Black Lotus. Each of the defendants charged.
Isn't it crazy as you hear this? Come on, Order of the Black Lotus, Turtle Island Liberation Front. And this still sounds like something out of a fucking bad movie. Like, these are people, like real people, that have formed this group to carry out acts of terror on U.S. soil. Like, this is nuts. This is what the world has come to. I mean, what the fuck? All right, let me resume.
Today was also a member of the Order of the Black Lotus. Carroll described this group to her co-conspirators as everything radical. As detailed in the federal complaint, which we will now make public, in November 2025, defendant Carroll created a detailed bombing plot to use explosive devices to attack 5 or more locations across Southern California on this upcoming New Year's Eve. Carroll and her co-defendant, Zachary Page, led the effort to obtain and build the bombs and to recruit others to join in their plot. Carroll's bomb plot was explicit. It included a step-by-step instructions to build IEDs or improvised explosive devices and listed multiple targets across Orange County and Los Angeles. Carroll also made clear her desires. She said, quote, "What we are doing will be considered a terrorist act." Carroll and Page also discussed plans for follow-up attacks after their bombings, which included plans to target ICE agents and vehicles with pipe bombs. Carroll stated that those plans would, quote, "take some of them out and scare the rest."
Okay, there you have it. People hate America. People hate America. And it's sad. It's sad what's going on right now. National Guardsman was killed. We had, actually a few months back, or not that long ago, we had Jewish people at a nightclub that were targeted and killed. We've had multiple mass shootings. We've had multiple terrorist attacks that were planned. Some of those that were never really widely reported, by the way. I believe back in May, I reported that the Border Patrol, that they apprehended enough terrorists, like known terrorists at the border coming into America, that added, back then, I don't know what the number is now in December, but back then it was enough to put 15 terrorists in every state of the United States of America. Literally. And here we have this Turtle Island Liberation Front. Let me show you these pictures of these people. And what's more disturbing, I mean, read their also known as, or AKA, or call signs, whatever. Check these people out. So here you have Audrey Carroll, AKA Asajanak, or Black Moon. We have Zachary Page. Look at this winner here. AKA is AK, like AK, or Ash. Ash Kerrigan is the AK. Here's the other one. This is good. Cthulhu's daughter. Fucking serious? Cthulhu's daughter? Is this a joke? No, these are real terrorists. Here's this person, Tina Chang Ting. Look at this person. Look at this deranged look. Almost as bad as Zachary Page, the Cthulhu's daughters look. This Tina Chang Ting lie. Their AKA is Kick Where. What is this, a fucking kung fu movie? Kick Where? What the hell? And then this guy, Dante Anthony Gaffield, aka Nomad or Cedar. What are we living in a bad fucking movie? Like, what is it? Like, are these guys getting high on meth, watching a bunch of movies and saying, you know what, this is what we're going to do? We're going to fight the system. Power to the people. Socialism must rise. Fuck America. Fuck capitalism. What's the outcome these people want? Really? To bring America to its knees for what? To put another third world country? Like, you want to turn America into a third world country? A lawless country? A place where you can just run free and wild and do what? Your system will fucking collapse within 6 months. Not even that, probably 4 months, maybe 2 weeks. Who's going to govern? How are you going to make money? Go ahead, take away the capitalist system. How are you going to make money? What are you going to do to provide? Is everything just free? Just going to fall out of the fucking sky? Do you guys think this thing through? I want to know who's behind these people. I mean, it's great that they announced that they took these people down. Good. I mean, they were about to bomb 5 places in Southern California on New Year's Eve. And they explained in their notes, memoirs, whatever, that this was an intentional terrorist act to fight capitalism. Who's behind these people? Like, who? Do you think that they're doing this with, like think about the money. Think about what it takes to do this, to plan this, to get the materials, to get people involved. I mean, are we thinking yet, people? Are we thinking there, America? What is going on? The world hates us. And there are many dumb fucking idiots out there who argue, well, they have a reason to hate America. America is the largest terrorist in the world. They impose the overthrow of governments and regime changes. Like, shut the fuck up. If it wasn't for America, the world would be a much bigger disaster than it is. Who's going to step up? Britain? Britain overextended themselves during the colonial period. They couldn't keep up in maintaining their colonies. They had to slowly let those go. They couldn't rule. They were no longer the world power. In fact, they negotiated with America to take over some of the regions or help them find an exit strategy at that time. The world is shit right now. And so what if we do step away? Let's say America steps away. What happens? What's better? China? Oh, you think China wouldn't step up and fill that void? Really? Really? You want to live under an authoritarian regime like the world over with a communist background who's only involved in capitalism for what? For global economic reasons to continue to fund their agenda to do what? Take over the fucking world. Like, are you that dumb, Americans? Like, seriously. Seriously. Do we really have people in our own country who hate their own country for what? For what? All the opportunities you have, all the Starbucks you have on every fucking corner. Oh, was that so bad? You can go to throw a fucking stone at a McDonald's and get yourself a fucking burger. Not that it's the best, but I mean, you have cheap, affordable options out there. We are overly abundant in food, resources. We can argue whether or not we're abundant in jobs. Is it hard to live here? Yeah, economically right now in 2025, yeah, it sucks. It's not easy. Housing is crazy. But compare what you have to your opportunities in free education, to being an entrepreneur, for example, to, I don't know, even being a social media influencer. I mean, that's kind of a thing, although I think it's dying. The sentiment, the attitude in America is if you work hard, not just work hard. If you work hard and apply your intelligence, like if you plan things out and work hard, you can succeed. And your success may not be the same as someone else's success. I think the problem is a lot of people are impatient. They think that just because someone like Elon Musk is a billionaire, like times over, that they themselves should be a billionaire. Well, maybe your success will not be you becoming a billionaire. Maybe it'll be you living comfortably, paying your bills, being able to take vacations, enjoy your life. And who cares if you have $1 billion? Does that really matter? Is America that bad? Are we really the ire? Are we the reason you're not succeeding in life? Is it America? Is it capitalism? Really? Well, in other news, let's move on to another tragedy. Oh, excuse me. Had to wet the old whistle with my Grinch cup. And for those who aren't watching, I got my Santa hat on. I've got my Grinch mug. The Grinch mug being very appropriate, given all the news I'm talking about. But Rob Reiner, celebrated director, I believe is a movie producer as well. You know, he did movies like Stand By Me, very famous movie. He did actually quite a Harry Met Sally. He did quite a few that were considered very, very good movies. I don't have the full list in front of me because I honestly don't know how many Rob Reiner was involved in. Oh yeah, Princess Bride. I remember that one. But he did quite a bit. And, you know, as far as his films go, he was good. Now, he politically, let's just say I didn't agree with him. Donald Trump definitely didn't agree with him. He made that very clear. But the tragedy isn't his political views. His tragedy is that he was murdered. He and his wife were murdered by his son. His son. His son, who chose to kill by way of knife, apparently slit their throats. And we don't know why. We don't know what the disagreement was over. We don't know if he was just high on drugs, what the deal was. But his son, Rob Reiner's son, killed him and his wife. The son killed his parents. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, I'm not going to pander here. I didn't know Rob Reiner personally. I really didn't. In fact, that probably makes up almost 99% of everybody listening to the show. All of America didn't have a personal relationship with Rob Reiner. So to act like, I'm just going to be honest with you, and you can all hate me and unsubscribe from my show, whatever. I can't sit here and say I feel something for him, but I can feel that this was extremely tragic. Like I can definitely be empathetic and say this was very sad. I mean, what did he do to others? I don't know. I didn't know him personally. I have no idea how he was as a person, but for anybody to be murdered by their son over a disagreement, that's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy? I mean, if you think about the people who were close to him, who loved him, that no longer will have him in their lives due to this murder, a heinous murder, violent act, you should feel something. I mean, even though I didn't know him, you should feel something for him, for the situation. I mean, I'll just say it's fucked up, right? But according to our president, not at all. I want to read Donald Trump's response. And I want to make it very clear that I don't even think the president of the United States should have even said anything. Didn't have to address this, but let me read this. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. And what the actual fuck there, Donnie? I mean, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know, Rob. I don't have a personal attachment to him. He died. I could, like I said, it's tragic, like how this happened. It was really fucked up. But Donald, what the fuck? What are you saying? How is this about you? I mean, how can you say that he was killed because of the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement? Like, what the fuck, Donnie? This is this is the president of the United States of America. I like a lot of what Donald does. I do. That doesn't mean I'm MAGA. That doesn't mean I bend the knee to Donald Trump for every little thing he does. I don't agree with everything he does. But I like a lot of what he does. His foreign policy, say what you will, it's better than what we had with Biden for sure. And economically, I don't think we're in the greatest shape right now, but he has brought the world to heel and put his foot down in many cases where, our previous administration would not. There's a lot to like. There's a lot that he did that was good. Closed the borders, deported a lot of people who shouldn't be here. And there's things that he did that honestly we can all disagree with. Like the tariff thing is obviously not working out. Economically, it's fucking us. Okay. Sure, the government's bringing in billions of dollars. Well, what is that doing for people like me? What is it doing for people like you listening? I don't know about y'all, but I mean, if you've gone Christmas shopping, everything is pretty fucking expensive. And even before we got to Christmas, the previous months, I mean, how was that price of eggs? Did they go down any? I mean, they did a little bit. How's the gas prices? Like, how's your electricity? Like, how's all this? And of course, we could definitely blame the state governments for a lot of this, especially if you live in California. I'll tell you right now. That's another conversation. So I'm just saying, there's the good and the bad with Donnie. But Mr. Donald Trump, president, sir, what the fuck are you saying here? This is not presidential. This was a tragic murder of an individual that had loved ones that some loved, respected him, loved his movies. And yeah, politically, whatever. I didn't like the fucking guy politically either. But I mean, are we here to celebrate this person's death or even turn it into, an opportunity to make it about yourself and turn it into something political when the murder itself wasn't political? This wasn't a political hit job. Like, what is going on with Donald Trump? What is with this? He should definitely retract his statement and issue an apology, because a lot of people, well, not going to say a lot, some people have come out and said, well, he didn't mean it that way. That's just, he's not good at delivering the message. I think Donald knows exactly what he's saying. I think Trump knows exactly what he's saying. That is what he does. He is the troll in chief. He knows how to push buttons. He knows how to make you feel good, feel bad, feel happy, feel sad. He knows what he's doing. He's a master manipulator for sure. And he can manipulate people. This is uncalled for. This is not presidential. This is not representative of all Americans. And this is a very bad message that you're sending to the world, Donald. I'm sorry. I know this is your last term and you don't give a fuck. But try to represent America as America wants to be represented. And this is coming from someone who voted for you. This is coming from someone who likes a lot of what you've done. But I'm not standing for this shit. This is wrong. This is bullshit. With that being said, I got one more thing to show you. Here's a video that is very representative of where we're at in America right now. Mass shootings, terrorist attacks, Donald Trump's loud, stupid fucking mouth. Here is the Statue of Liberty in Brazil. This is one of many replicas. This one was apparently installed in the early 1900s. And in this video, Lady Liberty is tumbling down due to gusty winds. She's already leaning, and here she goes. And if that is not representative of what is happening right now in America, if that is not a sign, I don't know what is. Listen, people, we need to get our shit together. It's okay to stand up to extremists. It's okay to say, no, we don't want unchecked immigration. It is okay to do these things and look out for America and put America first. It's not okay to pander. It's not okay to have your eyes and ears and your arms wide open to those who want to kill you and take down America. It is not okay for Donnie Trump, whether it's his last term or not, to misrepresent America and Americans. We need to do better. We really do. We need to stop with the race hustling. We need to stop with the acceptance of socialism. We need to stop with the acceptance of Muslims making their own communities here on American soil and even trying to instill their own laws and police forces. Like, no. This is America. This is fucking America. And I'll be damned if I'm going to see it fall apart. 2025 has been something for sure. And as we go into 2026, I just hope that we can pull our heads out of our asses. People are already turning away from social media. Social media, I think, has been a huge issue. It has been the driving force in the separation of Americans. But social media is not the real world. Go out and talk to your neighbor. Go out and get to know people. Ask them what they think. What is their opinion on what the real issues are? Is it immigration? Is it the economy? Is it jobs? Like, what is it? Talk these things out. Why live in fear? Why live with your head in the sand? Because that is what's been getting us to the point we're at. Ignoring everything. Acting like you can't call shit out. Acting like you can't stand for what America really is. This is what's getting us here. And look, Donald Trump is who he is. What he just said regarding Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, who were just murdered, unacceptable. Sorry, I'm just not gonna accept it. But it's up to us to hold him accountable. We got to hold our politicians accountable. All politicians. We got to hold people in Congress accountable. You need to step up and vote. Like, there's so many things that we can do to change the narrative, to change the direction of this country. But as a people, you want it. You have to want it. You have to want it. That's a lot of wants. But you get what I'm saying, right? You get it. You have to make the change. And for it to change, you have to be the change. Read past the headlines. Stop buying into the likes and the clicks and scrolling through Instagram and X and everything else that is holding your attention with rage bait, with racism, with pandering bullshit from half-baked, half-assed politicians who don't even have your best interest at heart. If you want to make the change, you got to be the change. In America, it's time to be the fucking change. We have to step up. We really do. All right. Well, that's the end of the show, everybody. Thank you for listening. And I encourage everybody to go to my website, worldablazepodcast.com, where you can find out more about World Ablaze with all the links to all the players, to the YouTube. And by all means, like, subscribe, share the show, leave me a comment, follow me on social media, Substack, Instagram, X, at Fonts Ablaze. Thank you very much. And after everything I just said today, do your best to have a good day.
Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell.